one of the many incidents which I would like to share कि solo dance एकल नृत्य, which is the USP of India, Bharat. Nowhere in the world this kind of dance form exists. Solo, one dancer and maybe musicians or recorded, but I'm speaking of musicians, with musicians, which I have sort of lived that as a solo dancer for more than 6.5 decades. Uh, my training has been of a solo dancer, and in my institute, Shrikamakya Kalapit, established in 1977, I was only teaching solo dance. अब मैं ये क्यों कह रही हूँ? 1997 अर्जेंटीना, Latin America, दक्षिण अमेरिका में my solo program with musicians ended with the episode of Mary Magdalene Bibles. Uska Vallathol Narayana Menon had written Magdalena Mariam in Malayalam, which I used to perform in Bharatanatyam. Later on, when a lot of people said, आप हिंदी में भी कीजिए तो उत्तर भारत में लोग समझ पाएंगे, I translated in Hindi, simple Hindi, beautiful. And after that, there was total silence. A simple narration, beauty of Mary, her hair, her face, her this, her that. And then she's preparing for the evening when people would visit her, and she hears the sound from the street, and she runs to the balcony, and she sees a procession, but her eyes, they just catch the lead person, and as the procession goes by, her heart is pounding. Something has happened. And she just removes her ornaments, picks up the jar of perfume, dons a white cloth, and runs after the procession, which has gone to the house of Simon. वहाँ जाके she knocks at the door, and when the door opens, they all look at her. She sees nobody and nothing except, and she runs and falls at his feet, copious tears streaming down. She washes his feet with her tears, wipes them with her long silken hair, and from the jar of perfume she sprinkles, and she kisses the feet, and looking up, she asks, I heard you say, knock and the door shall open. I have come at your door. I am not. Will you not let me in? And Jesus, dear Mary, in your tears are washed off whatever you have done. Your prayashchit, your paschatap is here. You are blessed. Now this, and there was total silence. After some time, sort of when they came out of the trance, there were encores and applause, like it was in the big theater of Buenos Aires, Theatre de Colón. And then I went to the green room, and Ambassador of India was waiting, other people were waiting with flowers and all that. The head of the Roman Catholic Church in Buenos Aires, or maybe Argentina, I don't remember now, he fell on his knees and he took my hand and kissed my ring. And he looked up with teary eyes and he asked in Spanish, which the translator from the embassy translated. He says, I saw Christ. And I just smiled. Then he asked, are you Christian? And I said, tell him, I'm Hindu. And then a very big question on his forehead. And then he says, then how? And it just spontaneously came out. I said, for me, Meera and Krishna are like Mary and Christ. prem, surrender in Shringar Bhakti we call it. Love and devotion, in loving devotion, surrender. So, this is the power of Ekal Nritya, solo dance of India. Tons of such examples I can give you. In Sudan, in Algeria, in South Africa, in Kenya, Uganda, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Greece and Cyprus, and in many times in Europe of all the countries, and Latin America, I've been there 4 times, Brazil and Venezuela, Peru, Colombia, Argentina, even Paraguay, Costa Rica, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama. Now, my argument today is that the gurus who taught us this and who have kept this tradition alive, which we trace back to Bhagwan Shiva, Nataraja, and Bhagavati Nateshwari Parvati. And we are extolling Natya Shastra. That parampara today is still living. The gurus and we, the dancers who have become gurus now, generation after generation, we are the living heritage. We are the living heritage. Whether you call it tangible because of the body and the intangible, all combined in dance. It's a 3-dimensional living sculpture, a living yoga, which opens the 4th dimension also. And today, there is a dearth of help from the government to preserve this. The government is doing a lot. But the institutions, the organizations, the gurus have been training generation after generation. They are all spread all over the world. They've opened their own institutions also in India. मेरे अपने शिष्य शिष्याएं छात्राएं कर रही हैं. लेकिन जब आप मूल को नहीं सिंचन करोगे, if you do not water and nourish the roots, the tree of tradition, of your heritage will slowly begin to wither away. So, 2 points. The solo dance tradition has to survive in this era of large choreographies. There has to be a balance. Second, the government and the big banks and PSUs and the MNCs, I think they have to take on the responsibility. You can nourish sports, you can nourish healthcare, you can nourish everything. But please remember, culture is that indefinable fragrance and taste and the atma of a civilization, of a culture, of the identity of a nation. We cannot afford to allow it to wither away.